Welcome back to Streaming Media East 2023 here in Boston, Massachusetts. And Christina and I actually had a really good conversation in Huntington Beach some time ago, I guess at Streaming Media West 2022, and I wanted to follow up with her. So first of all, introduce yourself, tell us what your title is in the company you work for.
Sure. My name is Christina Chung. I'm the VP of Business Operation over at Estrella Media.
Okay.
My particular role is I build out the digital infrastructure for the business, so everything from monetization, ad operations, business intelligence, and so on and so forth. So really excited to be here on this interview.
So for those who may not have seen the prior interview, what is Estrella Media?
Sure. So Estrella Media, we are one of the largest producers of Spanish language content in the United States.
Okay.
We actually, our digital business actually reaches 10 million unique monthly viewers, as well as we have 260 million minutes viewed of content every single month. So it's a pretty broad platform across our FAST channels, our AVOD platforms, and we have 4 primary channels: our Estrella News channel, which is for entertainment, our news channel for our news content. We also have a games channel and a movie channel as well.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk about sort of the current economic climate, especially with FAST. You know, one of the things I'm seeing in the data that I showed yesterday is that interest in launching FAST channels is declining, although interestingly, possibly declining because the revenue splits are a little unfair between the gatekeepers of the Rokus, et cetera, versus what can be, what revenue the FAST channel owners have. But regardless, there's a challenge in challenging economic times, both with SVOD and also with FAST. Is Estrella seeing similar issues?
Yeah, I think that there's an opportunity. As with every economic uncertainty, there's always an opportunity to find ways to, one, reduce costs, increase revenues, and overall generally produce a better ROI.
Okay.
So I think for Estrella, some of the things that we've really found is that we want to scale the business with limited resources.
Okay.
And how do we do that? We find more automation. Where's automation coming from? It's coming from data.
Okay.
So I would say that in this economic uncertainty, we're trying to do a lot more with data. And where's that data coming from? Is coming from a lot of our technology partners, our distribution partners, and all of this data is going to help us better inform our businesses and therefore disseminate to our ad serving and to our programming. So it's very important for us to be able to get the data that we need, which sometimes are behind walled gardens at the moment.
Sure.
And like for us, we're trying to reach out to these different business partners to try and get some of that data so we could be better informed about how do we reach our Hispanic audience in a much more curated way, whether that be through programming or advertising.
Now, one of the other concerns that I've heard people raise is around advertising that's too personalized, and several companies here have suggested that they're making it easier for their FAST viewers to opt out of being tracked from that standpoint. Does Estrella have a similar strategy from that standpoint to make sure that if somebody doesn't necessarily want highly personalized ads that they can?
Most certainly. So I think generally from an ad serving capability perspective, users have a lot more capabilities if they want to be tracked or not tracked.
Okay.
And with that comes with the capabilities, if a user wants to be tracked, we can curate certain ad experiences for them.
Okay.
And if not, we can do a more generalized ad experience.
Sure. Now, and you also mentioned partners. Are the partnerships just on the technology side or on the media side?
Yeah, so our partners, and we kind of oversee all of these different relationships. So from the tech side, these could be our ad serving partners, such as we use a few different ad servers, but our primary one is Freewheel.
Okay.
So we work very hand in hand with Freewheel. We work closely with our SSAI partners and CDN partners, such as Amagi. And then we also work with our business intelligence, which is Stack, and owned by Operative.
Right.
So that's like the technology side. When it comes to our distribution partners, we work very, very closely with all of our different partners, whether that be on the actual distribution, so getting the content onto each of these different related endpoints.
Sure.
Also the marketing team. So we work very closely with how do we make sure that their consumers know of Estrella Media's content.
Okay.
How do they know that what's coming up in the fall, or how do they know what's coming up next month?
Right. Okay, good. So are there any sort of announcements you want to talk about in that media partner
Yeah,
space?
sure. So I think I mentioned Estrella Digital, our sales team is doing a really phenomenal job. Our audience really captures this underreached market of US Hispanics. I think one of the things that we actually discussed in our New Fronts and Upfronts presentations most recently was that 1/3 of Estrella Media's audience is actually, our competition is actually, our audience is not looking at other competition. So that's really interesting because that's incremental reach
Right.
for our advertisers and our clients, which is really, really interesting. And we actually just recently announced in the last few months a really great partnership called EMAS, or Estrella Media Audience Solutions.
Okay.
This particular formation is the combination of 4 different independent media entities that are, really focused on the Hispanic audience.
Okay.
And that includes Estrella Media's networks, Hemisphere's 5 networks,
Okay.
BN Sports 2 networks, and also TVS Tech digital properties. And that combination has a total reach of, I believe it's 26 million unique audiences. So it's actually a really great opportunity, and we're very, very excited to be announcing it.
And from a practical standpoint, then somebody who would watch the typical Estrella Media, who also wants to watch BN Sports, because they're Hispanic sports followers, does this make it easier for them to find that content?
Yeah, so this is very much more of maybe less so of a consumer-driven approach, but it's more of like how does an advertiser find good Hispanic media?
Okay.
And so for us, this is a way for us to compete with the big competitors out there, but then also finding this other representation of Hispanic audiences that our other competitors may not be reaching. And this is allowing these 4 independent media companies that are a bit smaller to be actually represented more in the market.
And you can build out a better demographic of a particular, that makes sense, because it may be somebody who likes content you have, but also is a sports fanatic. And then you cross-pollinate. All
right, and it's under one marketing team and one sales team. So we're representing everyone. Yeah, right. It's a very unique, opportunity, but also it's very unified, which is very helpful.
Good. Christina, as always, thank you for your time. Glad to have you, and we'll be right back with our final guest.